Welcome back to the Day or Night in the Desert podcast. I am your co-host, Zach Morris, joined by my other co-host, James Knight. What's up, James? How's it going tonight?
Doing really well right now. We are on episode 7 of the Day or Night in the Desert podcast. Before we get started here, we would just like to invite everybody to subscribe and turn on post notifications on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Make sure that we keep getting those subscribers in because we have a lot of great content for y'all coming up, and we're just really excited to get into that content. But without further ado, we're going to get started here because we have a lot to get into today. The Jazz won at home on Thursday night against the Milwaukee Bucks 128-96. Ace Bailey had a great night with 33 points, while Elijah Harkless added a career-best 23. And the Bucks, unfortunately, it wasn't their night. They were led by Ryan Hollins with 15 points in a loss, so nobody had over 15 points for the Bucks. The Jazz came to play, got a 32-point win. We were also able to attend that game, Zach, so kind of just talk a little bit about the Jazz and how that experience was.
That experience was one of a kind. Seeing all those guys that were stepping up for those who were out with the injuries, and to see those young guys get minutes and to see how they perform up and down the court was really inspiring to not only myself but to James and to other NBA fans. I really liked what I saw out of the whole team, how they came together, even though we do have a couple of guys that were out with injuries. Let me tell you, Ace Bailey, he is something else. He's a really special player. He opened up with 33 points, his career high in total points. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing out of him. Going up and down the court, going in for dunks, going in for three-pointers, going in for two-pointers, making it in from three-point shot. I just really liked what I saw out of him. And the other guy who I really enjoyed watching was Elijah Harkless. I don't really know much about him. I do know that he's been in the G League for the last couple of years, but he has really stepped up in a big way for us over the last couple of weeks, and I hope that he keeps up the momentum and helps us get into where we want to be into next season.
And I think we would be regretful if we didn't mention the fact that, Cody Williams had 23 points. Hinson had 14 points off the bench. Blake Hinson, who's one of our newer players as well, 14 points off the bench. So clearly great contributors for the Jazz, really stepping up and doing their thing in that big-time win over the Bucks. Meanwhile, the Mammoth, on the other hand, they didn't look so good this week. They are still 5 points ahead of the Nashville Predators for the top wildcard spot, but they lost at home on Friday night to the Anaheim Ducks 4-1, with the only goal coming from Dylan Guenther just 48 seconds into the game. The Anaheim Ducks also scored a shorthanded goal in the first period to tie the game, and they ended up winning 4-1. Their goalie looks really sharp in that game. The Mammoth did not look as sharp. They had a lot of opportunities to score, but couldn't take advantage. We didn't see a lot from Keller or from Cooley in that loss. The Mammoth, though, still in good position, but Zach, do you have any concerns about this team headed into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think just they all need to be on the same page because clearly the last couple weeks they've been on a losing skid, and it shows out on the ice when players are not all in it with together and they're not on the same page up and down the ice. But I hope that Cooley and Keller and Guenther can clearly get on the same page for these next couple of weeks and getting into a postseason play. And I have liked what I've seen this season out of the whole team, but we just need to get back on track, play our game, and get back into the Stanley Cup playoff prediction.
Absolutely, and we're still in it. We have 78 points. We're 5 points ahead of Nashville for the top wildcard spot, so still in great position, but I think there are some things that could be improved on. We did see a lot of guys step up against Dallas, but not so much here at home, so we need to work on, I think, our penalties, staying out of the penalty box, as well as just scoring when we have opportunities to score. We have not done well on the power play the last few games. We gave up a shorthanded goal. You can't do that going into the playoffs, and I think that we just need to shore that up, but clearly those are fixable mistakes. I'm still confident in the Mammoth. They are still 5 points ahead. So I am still excited about playoff hockey in Utah. Meanwhile, some fans that aren't excited are the fans of the BYU Cougars basketball team. They lost 79-71 in the first round of the NCAA tournament, despite A.J. DeBonce's 35 points on 11 of 25 from the field and 12 of 12 from the free throw line. a great performance from A.J. DeBonsa, but it was not enough to get it done against Texas. Texas played great on both sides of the ball. What are your initial reactions to that game, Zach?
That Texas team is a really special team. How they play together, up and down the floor, how they're all on the same page. They don't give up. They never say die. They give it their all. And to be honest, this team can go a long ways. And I have liked what I have seen, and I hope that they continue their winning ways. And maybe this can develop into a national championship here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, they've done a really great job there at Texas. And then obviously beating Gonzaga today, too. Massive win. Wasn't great for my bracket, and I'm sure it wasn't great for yours as well, Zach. But
no, it wasn't perfect today.
Texas keeps rolling into the Sweet 16. We do have one more topic to cover on BYU, and that is the future of A.J. DeBonsa. He had a great season at BYU as a freshman, came in as the number 1 overall recruit in the country, and ends his career, despite it being in a loss, with a 35-point game, 10 rebounds as well, in that loss to Texas. Zach, what do you think AJ should do? I mean, I personally think he should go to the draft. He's obviously one of the greatest players in BYU in recent history, but...
Well, there is also Jimmer Fredette.
Yeah, I was just going to bring up that comparison, actually, because Jimmer Fredette obviously had a great career at BYU, broke a bunch of scoring records, won National Player of the Year. We've been seeing similar things from A.J. DeBonsa, but clearly has not been able to quite light up the scoreboard the way Jimmer Fredette did. But Jimmer Fredette didn't have a great NBA career. Lit it up at BYU as a spot-up shooter, was one of the greatest three-point shooters I think college basketball has ever seen. I mean, what we're seeing from A.J. DeBonsa, his ability to create his own shot, his ability to rebound, play in the post, body people in the post, create his own opportunities is something we didn't really see from Jimmer, who was more of just a spot-up guy. And that obviously did not transition well for Jimmer into the NBA, whereas you see the creativity of A.J. DeBonsa. It's almost like Kevin Durant. His ability to create his own shot, get wherever he wants on the floor. He can shoot from outside. He can shoot from inside. He can rebound. He can steal. He can block. He's got length and size and all the attributes you want in an NBA player. So in terms of that, what do you think AJ's draft stock is like? And how do you think his game will transition to the next level?
Well, first of all, I would like to say how much I have enjoyed watching A.J. DeBonsa play this season. He is a very special player with a lot of talents up and down the court, how he can get in through transition, how he can dunk the ball, shoot from the three-point shot, get a little bank shot up on the two-point shot. I like to see him having fun out there with his teammates. That's what sports is all about, having fun with those who you play with. But in all honesty, I really think that he should come back to BYU for one more year just to get a little bit more experience. That's just my opinion, but for those of you who are Cougar fans who listen to us, I'm sure you feel the opposite way. But that's just my honest opinion.
Well, I mean, I don't know what he's going to do. I think he is NBA ready, but obviously for Cougar fans, they'd like to see him come back another year. And I think it would be interesting to see what he's able to do in a year. He'll be a little more experienced. Maybe BYU will have a bit of a better team. They also have this Branch kid coming in who's like the number 6 recruit in the country. And I think he'll do some great things for BYU as well. So BYU's still going to have the roster. They're still going to have the talent. They still have Coach Kevin Young, who hasn't been there very long. And I think they can still do some great things with that group of guys. And so we'll just have to see what happens going forward. I predict he'll enter the draft. Some people may predict differently, but we said in that soundbite in the second episode that, his mom wants him to graduate. He may want to come back for another season at BYU. NIL has kind of changed things to where freshmen don't always feel inclined to just enter the draft. They might want to come back to school, earn a little bit more money, and stay in a college environment where they don't have to worry about the pressures of being a professional athlete. But I still think he'll likely enter the draft, and I think he is ready for it, and I think he'll be a great addition to whoever picks him. I hope the Jazz can maybe even try and get him. They obviously are going to have a high draft pick. We'll see how high and how high A.J. DeBonsa ends up going, but I would like to see him in a Jazz uniform. And
can I add one more thing on that?
Yeah.
I really think that sports is important, but it's more important to go to college, earn a degree, and then play the sport that you love. Because, in all honesty, playing in the NBA is not forever. So it's best to get your degree and then go on to play college and into the NBA. And then post-life NBA, use that degree into a job that they'll enjoy.
I mean, I don't always agree with that, but I think in an era of NIL where you can go to college and get paid, it does help sometimes to have a little bit more of that college experience to get ready for the NBA. The NBA does like taking guys young, so it can hurt your draft stock, unfortunately. They want guys who are 19, 20 years old going in. But I think, too, the NBA should be open to like letting guys develop a little bit, getting to the point where they're young men as opposed to boys. And I think college is a great way to develop young people and to help them progress in their journey throughout not just sports, but throughout life. And I think that a lot of people miss that in this world of sports. And so I liked how you brought that up, because young men need that development to get through life in general. And we've obviously seen guys succeed out of high school and the first year of college, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, but a lot of guys haven't. And the reality is you got to think about life after you're done playing the game of basketball. What can you do in the world, and what can you do for other people in order to help society and also help yourself in a life after you're done playing your sport? Well, another topic we're going to get into is the University of Utah. There's a lot going on there with Morgan Scalley's contract. His first season as a head coach, he will be paid $3.6 million with an increase of $150,000 each year over the 5-year term. He'll also earn up to $1 million in multimedia rights payments for promotional opportunities as part of a personal sponsorship with the university's MMR partner, and an additional $500,000 from Under Armour each season. Scalley also has the potential to make up to $1.5 million each season in incentive-based compensation, which includes bonuses for the conference championship game, appearances and wins, bowl game appearances, top 25 status as a team, coach of the year awards, as well as academic achievements for his roster. So that's obviously a lot to chew on, Zach. That's obviously a lot of money that Scalley could be making. He has been talking, though, like he believes this team is a contender for not only a Big 12 championship, but a national championship. And if he's able to do that, Zach, I think he's worth every penny of it.
Oh, I 100% believe that. And to be honest, that kind of money that he's making is just ridiculous to me. Some of these coaches that make that kind of money is beyond me. But I think for what they're being paid to do, to coach young men, to get them better as players, both individually and as a team, it's worth every cent and every penny. And I believe that Kyle Whittingham was the right guy to lead this team, but in all honesty, he's in the past. I do really love Kyle Whittingham, but we're on to Morgan Scalley, and I really think that he's going to take this team to the next step, both on and off the field. And you see it in his voice, what he said in his introductory press conference. This team is not only built for a Big 12 championship, it's built for a national championship as well. So I can't wait to see what he can do this next season with the roster that he's put together, as well as his coaching staff. And it's going to be a fun ride as a Ute fan.
Yeah, I agree. And of course, I love Morgan Scalley. He's a Utah guy, formerly played at the University of Utah, has been on the coaching staff for nearly 20 years, and has been a great asset as both, a defensive coach and a defensive coordinator. So I think we're getting a great addition here. He's a Utah fan his whole life, went to Highland High in the local area, Zach, and it's going to be an exciting time in the University of Utah. But there is some not exciting news regarding the University of Utah, and that is the tension between Mark Harlan and Kyle Whittingham, who are in a tense dispute following Whittingham's departure from Michigan in December. Despite a $13.5 million transition agreement, Harlan accused Whittingham of breaking the agreement spirit by poaching staff and players, calling the actions disappointing and threatening legal action against Whittingham. Obviously, we know a lot of Utah fans out there have not been fans of Mark Harlan. They have been critical of him at every turn. Kyle Whittingham, in my opinion, is the greatest head coach in Utah history. A Sugar Bowl win after a 13-0 season. You had the 2 Pac-12 championships, the 2 Rose Bowls. He's brought this program to where it is today, and I think he's kind of the guy that had to walk so maybe Morgan Scalley could run. But I do think it is really disappointing to see Whittingham being treated this way, especially because, and again, I'm not saying he should have poached coaches. He took, the offensive coordinator with him, Jason Beck, but I do think it is terrible how he's being treated. A lot of coaches do this when they transition programs. Whittingham did not intend to leave the program, and it was basically at Mark Harlan's request that Whittingham is now out of the program. At least that's my belief. And we've seen more things come up with that, with regards to Whittingham wanting to stay at the university, hoping to stay here. He wasn't going to retire, and now this comes up. Zach, what are just your thoughts on this?
This whole thing is a mess. It's a big, dirty mess. And I have been really critical of Mark Harlan, and I stick to that to this day. He is the one who really set this thing going. He wanted Kyle Whittingham out. He wanted Morgan Scalley in as the next head coach. He wanted Kyle Whittingham to go on and do whatever he wanted to do, but that is not, well, it is his choice, but Kyle Whittingham's to leave. But he, in all honesty, he was really let down. He was really treated unfairly.
Well, and this is the part that really disappoints me. So Harlan, obviously, his last payment to Whittingham said in part that the university was disappointed by your actions last month to accept the Michigan head coaching position before fulfilling the agreement to coach through the Las Vegas Bowl. And I personally think Whittingham should have coached the Las Vegas Bowl to finish out his career, but with what was going on with regards to both Sharon Moore being ousted at Michigan and the team wanting to move on with Morgan Scalley despite Whittingham not really wanting to leave Utah, it didn't sound like from these documents. This is from a KSL article that says that Kyle Whittingham intended to stay at the University of Utah before moving to Michigan, and clearly Mark Harlan did not feel the same way. He was disappointed in Kyle Whittingham's actions when, frankly, Mark Harlan's actions didn't live up to what I think Kyle Whittingham deserved. And so I think Kyle Whittingham just went after what he deserved and ultimately got it at the University of Michigan. It's one thing, I think, to want a new coach. I think it's okay to want Morgan Scalley to come in and coach this team, but just the way they went about it was entirely wrong. I think Whittingham should be shown the respect he deserves as opposed to being shown the door. And I'm just incredibly disappointed in this whole situation regarding the University of Utah and the way they've handled their athletic programs. I just think it's been kind of sort of a complete lack of class on the part of the University athletic department, which is led by Mark Harlan. So I'm all around just disappointed. I hope that he gets things figured out and gets this program back on track and gets us where we need to be as a university. And as a diehard Utah fan, I am behind this team and I'm behind the teams that are playing for the University of Utah and representing a great university like the University of Utah. But I'm just incredibly disappointed with what's happened so far, and I hope that he can remedy this situation and bring some good things going forward.
And I just hope that the University of Utah can get back to relevancy and we can get all this drama behind us and move on, not only as an athletic department, but as a university, because we do have great athletics. We have great fans. We have great students. We have the greatest community here in the Salt Lake Valley. And I can't wait to see what the future holds. But Mark Harlan needs to be accountable for his actions and his behavior towards the Whittingham family.
100% agree. And so just one more thing before we wrap up. We got to recap the Jazz game tonight. The Jazz lost by 10 to the 76ers to drop to 21-50 on the season. Not a great night for the Jazz, but a couple of bright spots. 7 players in double figures, including Ace Bailey, who led the team with 25 points. Another great game coming from Ace Bailey. Filipowski, 12. Cody Williams, 15. Elijah Harkless, another 15 points. And Kennedy Chandler, one of our new players, had 19 points, 4 assists, and 5 rebounds in his first game as a Utah Jazz player. Great start for him. But the Jazz, clearly not enough to win. Rookie of the Year candidate VJ Edgecombe had 22 points in the win for the Philadelphia 76ers. And Quentin Grimes added 25 points as well. Zach, your reactions to that and just overall the Jazz season so far. We did see some bright spots, so I think there's reason for optimism with the way Cody Williams has played, with the way Ace Bailey has played. I didn't honestly expect much from Cody Williams this year after what happened last year. He did not have a great season, but this year has really come into his own. The results haven't been what we've wanted, but I think going forward, there is reason for optimism within the Utah Jazz organization. Your thoughts on that, Z?
I think Cody Williams has risen into an NBA All-Star, even though he's just in his sophomore season. I have really liked what I have seen in him this last year and even last year as well. But he has come into him with himself. He has loved his teammates. He has played for his teammates, for his coaches, for the Jazz fans, for his family, for the Salt Lake Valley, for everyone that is a big Jazz fan. I like what I see out of Cody Williams, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for him. Elijah Harkless, Ace Bailey, Jaren Jackson Jr., Larry Markkinen, all these guys that are going to be able to play together come next season. But this season has just been a really disappointing year, and I hope that we can at least get back to making the playoffs either next year or the year after, because it's really just starting to get really upsetting. I blame the whole thing on Danny Ainge. He has really blown this team up ever since he traded away Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, Ingles and Jay Crowder and all these other guys who have been sent away. And I just feel in my heart that the Jazz need to figure this thing out, because it's just time to get back to winning. I'm tired of losing. I'm sure a lot of you Jazz fans are really upset with the way that Danny Ainge has really created a fiasco within the team. But I hope in the next 2 to 3 years, all these guys can be on the same page and we can get back to doing what they do best, and that's playing for not only for their families, but for Jazz fans nationwide and worldwide, and for all those who support this team over the last 30, 40, 50 years. And I am fully behind this team. Even though I have been harsh against Danny Ainge, I just want what's best for this organization going forward.
I totally agree. And the Jazz, just to give you folks an idea of how much they're missing, Lauri Markkinen out with a hip injury, Walker Kessler obviously out for the year with a shoulder injury, Keontae George out, Jaren Jackson out, Isaiah Collier out, Bryce Sensabaugh out, and Yosef Nurkic out. So a lot of guys out for the year, and hopefully as we get these stars back going into next season and the end of this season, we'll be able to win some games. Obviously, we're also hoping for a high draft pick going into the 2026 NBA draft, which is in just a couple months out. We're excited to see what the Jazz are able to do with that. We know they haven't gotten great picks over the last couple of years, but I am very, very optimistic in the Jazz's future despite the reign of terror so far.
Before we wrap up, I would like to express my gratitude and appreciation to each and every one of you for listening week in, week out, and getting behind us and supporting this podcast. It's been really fun the last 6 episodes, and I can't wait to keep this thing rolling. James has been so awesome as a co-host. I can't wait to see where this thing evolves, but I'm really just very excited for the future, and I express my gratitude, my appreciation, and for all the love and support that you guys have shown us. And make sure to continue to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
Absolutely, and I'll say on behalf of both of us how much we appreciate you guys tuning into our podcast. It's been a goal of ours for a long time to start a podcast, and I didn't know how much love and support we were going to get, and so I really, really, from the bottom of my heart, guys, really appreciate it. And be sure to keep tuning in because we have a lot of great content for you. We're going to do the best we can to keep coming with some great content, and so thank you guys so much, and appreciate you guys. We're 7 episodes in. We're going to keep reaching out, but seriously, guys, thank you guys so much, and keep subscribing, keep following us, and we will see you guys on the next episode, which will be episode 8. So thank you guys so much.